For real this time? For real this time? Okay, awesome. For real this time? A classic start off.
Boom. Hello, everybody. Okay, there we go. Oh, let's get monitor off of that. Sorry, everyone. Ah. I haven't used Streamlabs in 5 ever. Classic Kyles. There we go. That's better. All right, desktop audio. Now we can get you guys in. Boom. All right, you guys can speak now. Let's see what happens. Ah, perfect. Here they are. Yellow. Let's try to make it. Speak, speak.
Are you speaking? Why aren't you speaking? Speak. Everyone. Everyone. Everyone.
Hello. Whoa, time to turn everyone. Oh, we are already so up. Let's find a way to turn the volume up.
You figured it out, buddy. I'm so proud of you.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry for this slightly scuffed opening. We are figuring out how to use Streamlabs again. We're going to go through, introduce everyone, say hi really quick before we start into chapter 60. We got some new faces, we got some old faces. And yeah, so we're going to start up at the top with Gold, say hello, and we'll go down the list on Discord and say hi. Woo. Good morning, Pancake. Hello, I'm Kyle's McGiles, and I'm still here and still figuring out Rem. You can go ahead, Mango. You'll do great. Welcome. Oh, Purple. Oh no, Purple's mic isn't working. Purple, when your mic works, say hi. Tailed, your turn.
And last but very sleep deprived least, it's Wolfclaw. It's me. Hi, I'm Wolf. I voice Subaru and stuff. Yeah, and I'll be voicing Liliana again soon. That'll be fun. in a couple chapters ahead. Not for today, but you can look forward to your brain holes being absolutely ascended soon.
Fantastic. Good morning, everybody. So, chapter 60 is it's gonna be great, and we are testing out our sounds really quick live with you. So I'm just gonna adjust them as Jace tests them out, and we're gonna make sure that all of our audios sound good to you guys. I saw somebody say that I'm a bit quiet, so Wolf and I might be a bit quieter. Let me know. I'm only hearing Kyle's and Wolf. What do you mean? You couldn't hear the others? But their audio is on. They're back. Very much an issue. Nani?
Excuse me?
Yeah, do you want to change stream and check?
Doing that now.
Alright.
How does one watch
There
streams?
you go. What in the world? It's on. I just wanna. What? Monitor
Kyle just
output.
sounds insane as everyone is silent to her requests.
Can anyone hear Hero just now?
Hello.
Hello?
Right here.
Hello. I put monitor and output. Will that work? Yeah, we can
Hopefully
only-
that works.
Only hear you too. What in the world is up with Rem today?
Can't hear. Whatsoever.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, I just heard Hero.
Oh, you did.
I heard
well,
them
there's
Oh,
a-
what?
there's
Oh,
a
hey.
latency, so it's
Yeah.
gonna take a moment.
I heard
All
them in the
right,
stream.
we're gonna
Yeah,
restart.
that's
We're gonna skip mine and Wolf's intros. We're gonna go back and let everyone else. Rem is being a bitch as always. All right, now you hear lovely. All right, Gold, take it away.
All right, from the top. Yeah, so hello everybody. Hope you're having a lovely morning today. And yeah, I'm excited to have, 2 chapters today. And the entire cast is here for your audio listening pleasure.
No.
Hello. I'm Hero Vibe. Been a hot minute since I've been on this, but I voice Aldebaran. Very excited for these 2 chapters we have planned for you guys today. Oh, is that purple?
It is.
Finally alive?
Okay, good. Jace.
Oh, goody. I get to introduce myself again. Yeah, I'm Jace. I'm still doing, music and stuff.
I'm Mango and I'm playing Anastasia today.
I am Matt and I am listening and talking, and yeah.
I'm Matt E. I'm doing the same.
I'm Palazard. I'm new here. Excited to be a part of this. Thank you all for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Purple, do we have you yet? Oh, heck. You may want to check your Discord audio inputs. That might be what's killing you on there.
We
Tealdi.
can hear him.
You can?
Yeah,
Hello.
I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can hear him.
Yeah, I can hear. Hello, I am Tealdi. I shall be doing the narrator jibba jabba thing today.
And I think we skipped over Kyle's and Wolf.
Oh, yeah, we did that on purpose because we already introduced ourselves.
They were
I'm
the only
so-
ones who could be heard, so.
Yep. So that's the end of those.
I'm trying to fix Purple's audio real quick because you guys could hear him, but we can't hear him on stream. That's weird.
Oh, that's weird.
Purple, I'm gonna
I
pull
can
you
hear
into a
him.
different chat and bring you right back. It'll be 2 seconds.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, I refreshed.
He returns.
He returns. We want to hear him. What the heck? You can
Yeah,
hear
I'm gonna-
him on your
Yeah,
side?
I can.
Good morning, Purple. I'm sorry.
I'm not hearing him.
Yeah. What in the world?
I can hear him. Perfectly fine.
I can hear him.
What the heck? Some of us can, some of us can't. This is irritating, I suppose.
That's super strange. You can't hear him in the stream.
Can't hear him on my Discord
Really?
at all. I may boot myself out of the
Oh.
Discord, and I'll come right back. Boop. Now you can all hear me. Hello, everyone.
Alright, this is how
How
it
about
goes.
now?
Totally
Yay! Alright,
I work in
Purple.
the tech field, so this sort of issue comes up a lot.
Ah.
Purple, feel free to introduce yourself again so Stream can hear you. Good morning.
Well, good morning, stream. How you guys doing?
I think they're good.
10 seconds later.
Thank you, Purple. Sorry about that.
It's fine.
Amazing. Okay, apologies for all these technical difficulties, everyone. Let's do a quick test for our VAs that are needed in Chapter 60. So clearly you can hear me and Wolf. Let's hear Hero. Can we still hear you after a change?
Here I am speaking right now.
There we go. Sound nice. All right. Gold, how are you sounding?
Yeah.
Yep, we're good.
I bet.
Mango? Oh,
Sorry, I was muted. No, can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. You're
Yep.
perfect.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Tayaldi?
Hopefully you can hear me, or this is going to be very, very awkward.
Oh, we can hear you loud and clear now. And Palazar?
Hello, I should be coming through. I think I heard myself on stream.
Perfect. Yes. Amazing. For anybody listening partially on stream, partially on here, there is a bit of a delay. So while we're reading the chapter, you may want to mute the YouTube thing. I have done that to myself. It is rough. All right. Without further ado, I think we'll get Tealdi narrating, and we'll get started in the chapter, and hopefully it goes smoothly.
Knocking on wood.
Yeah.
Let's
All right.
sure hope.
Arc 5, Chapter 60. One ending, one battle. The sight of a white light. Warm, soft, a light which reassured one's heart. To greet the morning with such a serene mood had been absent for far too long. Always waking in despair, in never-ending every days that were as nightmares, there had never been a trace of peace. Gradually coming to firmly believe that for always and always, this darkness would never usher in the morning sun. Precisely because of this was perhaps why this ray was so refreshing.
Hey, wake up.
She heard someone's voice. Beyond the white light, someone was calling for her. Guided by that voice like so, led by the hand like so, she departed from this darkness. That white light glimpsed in the distance, finally engulfed her vision completely.
Good morning. No matter how much of a sleepyhead you are, it's about time to wake up, you know.
Opening her eyes and gazing over, a shy, silver-haired maiden smiled as she spoke such words. Those words made Sylphie's cheeks become stained with tears. Cerulean light flooded the sky as the enchantment of ice lifted. The ice that had engulfed the half-demolished church gradually turned to light, and the scattering mana that enveloped the microspirits disappeared. The sight of one unfathomable fantasy being overtaken by another unfathomable fantasy engraved a terribly agonizing sentiment in the hearts of the viewers. Although it would not be strange to be moved to tears by such a sight, the reason why they cried and wailed was certainly something greater than that. From what overtook their lives, from a nightmare which had bound the most brilliant and sparkling epoch of their lives, from that, they had been freed.
Speaking of which, Amelia Tanner's a pretty big shot.
Thoughtlessly loosening his lips, Subaru murmured absent-mindedly. In front of his eyes were Amelia, and the bride clinging onto her in tears. one of the ex-wives, in a healthy shape. The number of women in dresses were precisely 53, with not a single error in counting.
When I informed her that his wives had assimilated his heart, I thought there wouldn't be a way to save the brides without having them die.
Taking away the lives of the brides, rendering Lion's Heart without a place to be in. Subaru had partly, seriously given up on there being another way to stop that abhorrent man. He had been prepared for sacrifices. However, unlike Subaru, Amelia had not given up. It was true that during the fierce and life-risking skirmish against Regulus, his thinking had come to a standstill, believing there to be no other choice. However, Amelia did not stop thinking. With the cards she held, and considering what all would be possible for her, she had made her move. Which was why...
This time, Amelia Tan completely carried us. Huh.
It's not like that.
Letting out an exhausted sigh, next to the wall, Subaru remarked on his own vanquish. Hearing his relieved exhale, Amelia came back to him. Her white dress was torn, and her silver hair, which had overcome the struggle for life and death, was disheveled. Even still, after the fight had ended, Amelia looked beautiful. Inhaling with that in his mind, Subaru jerked his chin.
Those people, they still have expressions full of dissatisfaction that fail to sufficiently express their gratitude towards Amelia, you know.
Stop poking fun at this. And I'm incapable of saying anything grand to them. Even if only for a brief while. The choice of dying was forced upon them.
But there isn't anyone who died. Everyone's still alive. This point's more important than anything else.
This result, it was the most perfect possible. Having found the answer he was seeking, Subaru felt relieved. Amelia placed her hands on her hips and raised her voice as she spoke to Subaru, who was still regarding himself too lowly and thus putting himself down.
Wounded all over, forcing yourself despite that. If Subaru hadn't worked so hard, everyone wouldn't have made it so far. Lion's Heart, too, was all thanks to Subaru's noticing it.
Lacking a trump card is the usual thing. That being said, something did feel off all along. But thank goodness you noticed it. Freezing the wives to place them into a death trance.
I, too, was frozen for a bit too long.
Amelia stuck her tongue out with that kind of feeling. Adorable. Although, for some reason, it didn't seem like content to be discussed while laughing. Nonetheless, Amelia's actions and keenness had yielded the greatest effectiveness to strike down Regulus without unnecessary sacrifice. 53 lives, those of the precious wives, had been saved.
Though, as for whether or not I could do it, I was lacking a bit in confidence.
But still, you did it. Amelia Tan, you worked hard to improve your own skill and strength.
But the possibility that they would stay frozen like this also existed. To free everyone perfectly like this is what finally allows me to relax.
Then, as if to hide her shy smile, she touched her chest. Underneath the palm of that hand was seemingly to confirm that there remained only her pulse and heartbeat.
In addition, if Subaru hadn't removed Regulus's heart from my chest, I would have needed to use the same magic on myself. In that case, whether for Sylvie and the others, or myself, I think it'd be really worse than melting like this, because then it could have been taken another 100 years.
That again, isn't that an exaggeration no matter how you look at it? So this isn't an exaggeration? Or worse? Isn't this completely unparalleled extremism?
Watching Amelia as she smiled bitterly and silently, Subaru felt a sharp shock. Due to Regulus's provocation, Amelia had wanted to stop Lion's Heart's effect on her. If an eye had not been kept on her, if the situation had not been mishandled, then perhaps Amelia would have parted from this life. Of course, notions of searching everywhere for a way to melt the ice to avoid that would still exist in his mind.
Something like 2 Sleeping Beauties. This pestilent god truly isn't ordinary. Please give me your forgiveness.
Although complaining, Subaru's heart had settled down. In any case, Amelia had been rescued and was safe and sound, and the wives had been freed without harm. Although the battle against Regulus had yielded a scale of destruction beyond what one opponent seemed capable of, in summary, their side had sustained more or less no loss. Even so, Subaru's flesh carried all kinds of burdens, as well as an unnecessary connection with the witch cult. And in addition,
Reinhard left without even treating his wounds. I wonder if he'll be okay.
to Subaru, who had been lost in thought, Amelia suddenly spoke. Subaru raised his head and gave a wave of his hand.
Oh, it'll be fine. Even if that guy leaves his wounds as they are, the microspirits will come along and treat them. He himself said so.
Ah, makes sense. Originally, there had been quite a number of the microspirits here. But as soon as Reinhard left, everyone went too. Reinhard perhaps has the aptitude to potentially be a spiritual arts user.
My niece would be completely killed, so that can't be!
And as for Reinhard's circumstances, even without anything like that, he was strong enough. Although the one who had handed off Regulus to Reinhard had been Subaru himself, Reinhard's manner of battle in that final, indistinguishable duel could only be described coldly in one phrase. Could a human leap with such ease above the clouds? Even if he couldn't at all be classified as human, Reinhard was a knight under a candidate of the royal selection, much like himself.
Amelia-san, weak though I may be, please don't cast me away.
I am especially dependent on Subaru, though.
Is that right? That's right! From now on to the future, I'll also work my hardest.
Apologies. Your sudden rush forward of hard work is a bit confusing.
In any case, best to stop comparing this to that. To do so would be doing the same as Regulus, who could not act with peace of mind without using others as a point of reference. Though he had always been thought of as a man without qualities to be admired, but unexpectedly, treating him as a frame of negative reference worked out just fine.
Everyone else, are they okay?
That's what Reinhard is for. In all honesty, everyone else is stronger than me.
To entrust to one another, or rather, for one to rely on the other, the awkward expression known as faith would be the most suiting. Despite being in different factions, who would one day come to face each other in the struggle for the throne, Subaru still believed in them, even with the variance of personalities, abilities, and beliefs. At least, he would believe that they would not lose to those despicable, hopeless guys in the witch cult. Moreover, if anyone failed, if the lives of anyone who mattered was in jeopardy, that was to say, Subaru needed to consider using return by death. Even if the contract with Roswell did not exist, as long as there remained any slight chance of salvation, they would certainly be saved. He hated pain and suffering, but tragedies were surely even more worthy of his disgust.
Subaru?
Unknowing of what Subaru was seeing as he considered the possibility of death, Amelia sat down next to Subaru. Her body rested against his left shoulder as she gently stroked his lowered head. Tickled, but it was hard to part with.
Amelia-tan?
Right now, I share the same feelings as Subaru. Although, I'm worried about everyone. My own strength is spent. Even reaching out a hand is impossible. So, me too. Allow me to pray with Subaru, in hope that everyone will be safe and sound. certainly, there won't be any problems, because they're all really strong, really smart, and really hard workers compared to us.
In order to reassure Subaru, Emilia carefully considered her choice of words. Her use of phrasing sounded especially of her, and Subaru too was able to relax. Faith. To have faith in everyone. And Reinhard, who had already set off. Immediately upon defeating Regulus, Reinhard had left to help their compatriots. A battlefield with him present would not be any cause for concern. Without losing even a single person, they wished to welcome the coming morning. In that case, capturing Subaru's worry was only one remaining issue. Alongside Subaru, who looked toward the sky as if in prayer, Emilia as well looked through the ceiling of the demolished church to regard the night sky. As if to prevent Emilia from seeing, Subaru tightly grasped his chest. Alongside the moment of Regulus's death, it had felt as if something, formless and black, had slid into his own chest, pulsating. That was surely the same thing that had happened with Beetlejuice back then. So he would, in order to keep Emilia from noticing, merely keep quiet. Praying to the heavens, preparing himself, merely keep quiet. Time turned back to just a little before Regulus had been defeated. Half an hour prior, after Subaru and the others had left for the control towers, and after Otto, who had seen them off, had left in order to recover the Book of Wisdom. That was when Otto and Felt had encountered Gluttony and had begun to fight. Was when Garfiel and Kurgan had just landed in the canal. Was when Wilhelm had unveiled Teresia's cloak. Was when Julius had frowned upon hearing discourse of a grudge that he could not remember. Was when the church where the bride who was being forced into marriage in a farce of a wedding had been half destroyed. Was when the waterways to the city's north had suddenly ignited at once. Was when the city hall, with only non-combatants left inside, was attacked.
Time for this lovely lady's debut!
On the topmost floor of the city hall that stood 5 stories tall, a tremendous force shattered walls without any room for resistance. The tremendous vibration shattered the architecture's windows, and, combined with the damage to the building's foundations that had happened during the day, it now caused lethal damage. Pristella's City Hall, a building which had once been the city's center, had, in the space of a mere single day, turned to the verge of ruin, nary a trace of its former glory left. However, whether the curtain would close with it only on the verge of ruin was dependent on what would happen here, would be decided based on the result.
4 towers corresponding to 4 gates. No matter which one opens, the city will indeed be flooded. To not gamble on the possibility of retaking all the towers wouldn't do. Even if you rotten meats don't like it, you'd still need to dispense your forces and wage out war, right?
Long-windedly, a voice which was an assault to the ears described the immediate circumstances of the city. And then, echoing were voices opposite to this.
Be certain to survive, to protect this city!
Using our strength, let's take back this beautiful scenery of our city.
We who stand with justice couldn't possibly lose.
Paid with good, and evil is paid with evil. This battle will be the victory we await. The stern voice of a young man. The brave voice of a young woman. A cry of a stern voice from a male soldier, which tangibly felt like that of a veteran. A cry of rational naivety from a young woman, cheering everyone on. In any case, only the innocence of these unrelenting and unashamed wills improved these unyielding lines of discourse. Only the mouth which discussed this was only a single one.
How are you so unwilling to just think the slightest
from the same mouth which had spoken these effective words, as if betraying all the preceding remarks, insulting and taunting. A voice, so rooted in malice as to be devoid of even conscious malicious intent of smearing them away, spoke thus. And then, the owner of the voice hugged her own petite frame as if seeing something disgusting, shaking her shoulders back and forth.
Stop! Please don't do this! Why? Does this lovely lady have no choice but to get this? Justice that exudes the same stench as soil and sweat? You rotten meats! All you gather together so your brains can boil beautifully?
Raising her voice high, producing a laugh piercing as a clamor. Without the capability of hiding, without even the intent of hiding its malice, was this voice, its source a young girl who had yet to blossom into maturity. Wide, round eyes and delicate, thin lips, blonde hair riding to her shoulders and faintly reddened cheeks, as if taking the form of the concept of cuteness. That face appeared inconsistent with the young girl's luster and fierceness. Clad in pieces of cloth which were practically just lingerie, forget being a woman. For a young maiden whose human body's characteristics had yet to develop, this outfit was far too exposed. Any normal human who gazed upon this would hold a twisting sense of aversion. The terrifying young girl, or rather, the monster's purpose, lay here. A Sin Archbishop of the witch cult, representing lust, Capella Emeralda Lugunica, a monster whose purpose was to ridicule the morals and dignity of humanity as exceedingly as possible, was present.
That you would delusionally believe this lovely lady would be following decorum and obediently wait in the tower is practically incomprehensible. Being kind to the point of allowing you to pass these days is already charity. What is called battle is about not knowing the opponent to do as they like, and then to do precisely that they don't want you to. This kind of principle is understood even by flowers in the greenhouse. You trash meats!
In the midst of these coarse words of unbearable ridicule was the monster that was only cute in appearance, Capella. Using fingers to poke at her cheeks while twisting her body was this monster, who resumed human form immediately upon successfully infiltrating the city hall and entering a nearby room. Meeting Capella was a cat-eared knight who had been immersed in her abusive words earlier. There was, too, a long-haired woman lying on the bed behind him. Here was the uppermost floor of the hall, on which was the room that the master-servant duo of Ferris and Krush occupied.
You are the Sin Archbishop of Lust!
Ferris cried out with a voice trembling with rage, glaring at Capella as he protected the bed. Capella tilted her head at Ferris's glare, then looked toward the bed behind him before nodding with an expression of acceptance.
Ah, okay. Your resentment is understandable. She did, in fact, lose to the blood. From the start, I thought I shouldn't have worked. Even though I believed that, actually seeing this failure is disappointing indeed. The most noble Lagunican blood misled me to have just the slightest bit of expectation.
For what purpose would you force something like this onto Kusama? What has to be done to save Kusama? Answer me!
Towards Capella, who sighed with something more like listlessness than disappointment. Ferris's cute face was dyed red in anger as he screamed. Wielded by his two hands was the soldier's short sword he had been carrying until now. That sword had been engraved with ornate decorations and the emblem of a lion, more akin to a first-class ornament of favor than a weapon of combat. Aligning with Ferris's own immature skills, it lacked the ability to make effective attacks.
Is that a toy? An important gift? No matter which. Using your frail arms to weigh something like this is pretty dangerous. Little girl? No?
Capella, who had stuck out her tongue to jeer, cut her words off midway with a sudden frown.
Ugh, disgusting! You have a pretty unnatural body. Clearly a man with that body. Something that shouldn't have been removed wasn't, so how? Did you become like that? From a glance, it's fundamentally different from those perverts who dress in women's clothing. Even this lovely lady is put off.
Not only did she see through Ferris's gender, but Capella also showed disgust at his unnaturalness. The monster carefully examined Ferris from top to bottom, making a deliberate gesture.
That manner of dress, is it to seduce other men? In any case, all it's worth is bringing understanding to the pointlessness of humans. Men are fools, women are all sluts, and humankind stick all together is utter trash. It's what a lovely lady concluded from her preferences.
How noisy! Stop with the useless. Answer my question already! What exactly did you do to Kurosama?
Ah, truly, how truly annoying.
Towards Capella, with whom he had yet to establish dialogue, Ferris once again let out a roar of rage, unable to bear the ridicule. Capella relaxed her shoulders upon having heard it, and, after a moment, the visage of the young girl dissolved away. Before Ferris, who took a stunned inhale, the young girl's body began to dissolve and reform. Short stature elongating as if a nightmare, bright golden hair beginning to change in color, the temptingly sweet face that would provoke a desire to protect on anyone upon sight became stern, and the lingerie-like clothing transformed into an indigo dress. Although he had been informed about it, this was still the first time this process of variation and change appeared before Ferris, creating nightmares, transforming the bodies of that which it touched into whatever it so wished, both itself and others. And then, being faced with the manifestation of this nightmare, Ferris was frozen with shock.
What's there to be surprised about?
Speaking those words, caressing long green hair, was the face Ferris cherished most. The figure of Capella, who now stood before him motionlessly, had become the very appearance of Ferris's most beloved master. This made Ferris's face turn stark white, and even the hand holding the short sword had begun to tremble slightly.
Look here. The ferocity from earlier has completely vanished. This face, this body, this voice have become like before your very eyes now.
Crucia's face laughed, something he had never seen before, and slowly, Capella strode forward. She reached Ferris's side, stopped upon reaching a distance where she could touch him if she stretched out a hand. As if thinking of something, she pointed the short sword Ferris was holding to her own chest. The tip of the sword rested right at the center of Crucia's large bosom. Leaning just slightly forward would have it pierce through. That was the position it was in.
Your despised enemy is right before you. Avenge me. It hurts, it hurts. Even breathing brings me anguish. I can't open my eyes. Flowing through my chest isn't blood. Flowing through my entire body is something that feels like poison. So hurry! Avenge me! That's what she's saying, you know. Plunge the blade with one breath. Stir the wounds around as you will and yank it out in one breath as well. Then the heart will be destroyed, the arteries will be severed, and the blood will spurt forward constantly. You can kill her.
Ferris's breaths began to grow too rapid. His gaze began to wander. More prized than gold, the life of his master's enemy was being offered right before his very eyes. Just as she said, an attack like this could truly be effective. He could destroy her heart. He could kill her. However, precisely because she wore that too familiar face.
Stab, 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 stab!
Commanded as if by malediction, Ferris's short sword punctured that chest. The blade pierced that body with ease, reaching between bones to destroy the heart within. With a twist of the keen blade came the ruthless sound of muscle being severed, and finally, along with the blood that squirted forth, the short sword was yanked out. Ferris tried to avoid being stained by the gushing blood, backing away with uneven breaths. The short sword slipped from his hands to the ground, being splashed on by the blood dripping upon the floor. And then Capella, who had been stabbed in the chest, knelt on the ground, spitting vast quantities of blood from her mouth. In appearance, she still wore Crucia's face, her own pained face stained with blood, amber eyes filled with disbelief fixed on Ferris.
Hurts. It hurts. Why do something like...
It was you who made me stab, made me injure Kusama.
It's painful, so painful. It's too much, unforgivable. The way it's spoken things like liking you, loving you. We clearly loved each other.
Don't say such ridiculous things. I don't share that kind of relationship with Kusama.
Is that so? In that case, the interpretation of the script itself was off.
With a frank expression, Capella used a sleeve to wipe the blood from her face while standing. She casually brushed the wound on her chest, and the fresh wound disappeared in an instant. The twisted expression of agony from before disappeared as well, leaving only a sigh.
Indeed. If you're going to play around like this, it's meaningless if it's not done from the very beginning, right? Something like that? A master and a vassal who love each other, and this lovely lady who looks like one of them, and forces one to kill the other? And then to unfold the Carthrus of love. That was what's been planned originally. A failure. A failure indeed.
Putting on such a farce. Just what do you intend? What do you want from us?
Nothing much. There isn't much intent behind it. Nor is there anything really to ask of you. Watching a husband kill his wife is something to kill time. I was just wondering if having a knife by one side, all dressed up as a woman, such as a hobby, in such a relationship.
My promise with Kusama isn't anything superficial like that.
Putting things like fetishes and sexuality on the surface like that is nothing this lovely lady finds rather frivolous, you know.
Regarding Ferris, who could not help but cry out, Capella tilted her head as she spoke. Then Capella raised her right hand, and her external form once again changed drastically. Her palm becoming like a flower's giant petal, the tentacles that stretched forth sent Ferris's body flying, before entangling him as they lifted him up, then tightened their grip as they slammed him against a wall.
It's the same whether I see it or feel it. What a body, both so slim and fragile. If you want to become a woman so badly, how about this lovely lady lends you a hand? And this lovely lady's hands, it'd only be child's play. How about getting it removed and forming your holes in minutes?
My body's irrelevant. More important, it's what Kusama is.
How ridiculous! Something like vaulting another over yourself? How about you stop audaciously saying sweet nothings? And speaking of which, you're asking to recover a body infected by the blood of its original state? Ha! If such a method exists, it should be said that this lovely lady would be more eager to know.
Tentacle continued to writhe forcefully, causing the blood in Ferris's delicate extremities to begin seizing. Widening his eyes in agony, the sound of twisting broken bones echoed throughout the room. In comparison to the right hand, which had taken the form of a carnivorous flower, the raised left hand took the shape of a scythe of a mantis. Maintaining Crucia's face, she had become a repulsive monster whose left hand was an insect's and right hand was a flower. Even so, that face bore no trace of change, all the more horrid for remaining adorned in beauty.
Directly Frankly, turning you into mincemeat would also be pretty entertaining. And this lovely lady doesn't have much time to spare anyway. Before any unrelated others can appear, it wouldn't do not to take care of you and your master. That said, you people are really foolish beyond limit. Without expecting this lovely lady to show up here, even a strategy for counterattack is sluggish. Just what point will it come to before?
Having said this, Capella's once delighted face was now tinged with a touch of a frown. As if holding doubts regarding what she had just said, she dragged Ferris, still gasping for breath, before her.
No matter what, isn't this a bit too slow? Even given that this lovely lady infiltrated from above, isn't taking long for any others to arrive on this upper floor? You've been planning something. Hurry up and revealing everything is for your own good, you know. Otherwise, your most treasured Master Sama will undergo even uglier transformation.
Capella's scythe, which extended from her left wrist, was pointed at Krush, who lay on the bed, and Ferris was forced to make an incomparably cruel choice. Serving as a response to this question was Ferris's shaking voice that he squeezed out.
You.
Which way of begging for mercy will you?
You utterly useless creature.
Huh?
Yellow pupils bearing disgust glared at Capella, a sentence uttered as if spat. Immediately afterward, the tentacles that bound Ferris began to spout smoke, and the petals discolored and rotted away. Regarding her own right arm that had been corroded away, Capella revealed an expression of surprise.
Ada. Just what happened to this lovely lady's hand?
Well, just think of it like scummy personalities not being unique to your side.
The tentacles rotted away, and Ferris's body was freed. Another sound overrode that of Capella, her head turning. That was a cute voice with a unique cadence. Capella looked in the direction of the bed, from which that sound had been issued. At the very moment, light flooded the entire room, practically creating the effect of instantaneously spiking temperature, was a white ray. This energetic beam burned away at Capella's face, destroying the entire left half of her face. Accompanying the carbonization of half of her face was the stench of scorched flesh, and Capella retreated several steps, then reaching out a serpentine tongue to caress the surface of that wound. She smiled.
It's the face of one of your own allies. And you should not even a trace of leniency, huh? Well, not like this, and to an effect. The presence of someone here is well unexpected, so it's not a huge surprise that it ended up like this.
And allies and misunderstand it. We're commercial competitors. Nah, more like competitive opponents. Moreover, not like we're living such easy lives that we'd hesitate to attack, even if we're seeing the face of an opponent.
A conditional ally will sooner or later become an enemy. In that case, was especially aiming the face of some deliberate preemptive scheme. If that's the case, your personality might be a little too twisted too.
I told you, there wasn't any such mixing of business and personal stuff. Aiming at the head was purely to see if destroying it proved fatal. Hoping so for a moment, that's all.
Saying so, the person who clambered from the bed gave a sigh of betrayed expectations. In place of Krush, lying on the bed had been Anastasia. She touched her own wavy hair colored with green dye, responding with a slight smile to Capella, who had survived with even half her face scorched off.
Though I really hoped for it, seems like you didn't die.
Even though it might be different from the type of woman who only smiles upon seeing money. But something like this unhesitatingly scorching half face of a woman, a personality surpassing a reasonable amount of self-interest. You truly are a female meat that this lovely lady would love to take an interest in.
You take an interest in us? Even us here'd feel a bit of resistance. You see, I've decided my taste's the type with long fur that feels silky to the touch.
Boldly, Anastasia responded to the monster Capella's words with frankness. With a small cough, she approached Ferris, who was near the bed, taking his wrist and helping him up. Watching the teary-eyed Ferris, Anastasia spoke with, "Is this enough as a precursor?"
Mango, I just can't hear your audio.
Sorry. Hang on, just a sec. Sorry. No information's been gathered at all. At the very least, let's set Crucia's affair aside for now.
I understand. You've accompanied me so far already in such a risky gamble.
We hold a rather large share of the responsibility for this whole deal, so let's just call it that.
Even the ability of Ferris, the pinnacle of healers in the kingdom, could do nothing to heal the current Cruche. To save her, there was no other way aside from finding what had caused it, as well as the solution from the one responsible. As for what Ferris had proposed, Anastasia could not refuse. Inviting each candidate to the city of Pristella had been Anastasia's doing, and then the situation had escalated to such an extent. Because she was partially accountable for the matter, Anastasia had been unable to refute Ferris's plea.
Pointing to say that it's been completely fruitless despite going so far.
To be burdened by expectation like so, my deepest apologies. But these feelings are truly completely absent. But there shouldn't have been any guarantee that I'd show up at all.
Wasn't there an announcement from Natsuki-kun? Seems that you would have reacted upon hearing that.
Sending the main combative force away, leaving the base camp undefended would surely prompt activity from the enemy. In the first place, the witch cult had no obligation to greet them with integrity. Truly, this was just as per the contents of Capella's earlier speech.
Natsuki-kun grew naive at a critical moment here.
Although in no way was there a possibility of a guarantee. Strictly considering the nature of the Sin Archbishops, the ones to show up and attack could only be one of either wrath or lust. So, Anastasia had laid a trap and allowed the city hall to be attacked. The real Cruche had, of course, been evacuated to a nearby shelter with the other injured. There would, of course, be no one who would step into this uppermost floor. People still remaining in this building, aside from those on the topmost floor.
People whose minds move a little too quickly are just the slightest bit irritating to others. But then, aren't you underestimating this lovely lady? That cat ear's over there, and this little lady over here. Neither looks like someone who can hold her own in battle.
Called the ladies rather embarrassing. Though I may look like this, I'm technically a grown adult.
At Capella's remarks, Anastasia winked in response.
It's been decided. That lovely face of yours is all that will remain after everything below your neck becomes a locust. After that happens, let's see if you can still talk with that rude mouth of yours. Shall we?
In that case, best to bid farewell for now.
Anastasia's refusal surprised Capella, the threatening party. Anastasia tugged on her hair that was green still, and glanced about the room.
We should have mentioned already, but we've been awaiting you all along. In that case, we couldn't have been waiting without making any preparations.
Immediately after making that statement, Anastasia rapped gently against the floor with her fingers. 2 ringing sounds, as if some kind of signal, and immediately afterward, cracks appeared in the floor by Capella's feet. and the broken body of the young girl plummeted downward.
Oh my!
The bottom of the floor fell away, and appearing in the floor she had plummeted to was a similar opening. In this manner, Capella continued to fall floor by floor, falling the height of 4 stories in one breath, landing in an underground chamber beneath the first floor. With the sound of a splatter, Capella's body exploded. Defenselessly slamming into the ground, the body of the young girl was completely flattened on the cold surface. Blood gushed forth from her face, and her limbs were folded over and broken with a miserable appearance. But the body that had become a piece of flesh immediately began sluggishly moving its limbs, and the young girl's body changed shape like an aqueous amorphous entity and stood up. Appearing there was the figure of a seductive woman, clad in extremely revealing clothing, displaying her ample flesh without a trace of shame, with the rare sight of black hair woven into a 3-stranded braid, exuding a somewhat dangerous aura and a beauty that caused restlessness to all those who gazed upon it. Whether Ferris or Anastasia, both should have no idea who this appearance belonged to. In the first place, the 2 that remained on the 4th floor should not have been able to see her transformation. And so, there should have been no one who would react with surprise upon seeing this figure.
Really? Isn't this just going to make me so very delighted? So very excited?
With the manner of an agonized death, and a manner that could not feel agony, Capella let go of her voice. A frivolous sound, incongruent with her mutated appearance, echoed throughout the entire underground chamber of the city hall. Shadowy, its air both cold and humid. This was not merely the landscape of a basement, but part of the numerous waterways distributed throughout the city, part of the management facilities used to maintain these waterways. From somewhere came the sound of rushing water, and from somewhere else overhead, a breeze blew by.
Receiving such a warm welcome and whatnot. This lovely lady is so excited to allow herself to freely change the size of her chest, to return and embrace them tight, to have them rectify their upbringing from where this lovely lady's arms, to have them never love anything aside from this lovely lady.
Can't return.
Huh?
Cheeks dyed crimson, Capella, exhilarated to the point of trembling, was barred by someone unknown. Sounding out was a deep voice, a man's voice, muffled and sulking. As she heard this voice, Capella raised her head, and from the shadows underground emerged a person's figure. Upon seeing him, her expression suddenly changed completely. The ecstatic expression that had been on her face until now immediately contorted to one of loathing as she glared at her opponent.
By this lovely lady's aesthetic values, those most intolerable are the ones who hide their ugliness, aren't they?
I see. Rest easy. By my aesthetic values, your feelings cannot be tolerated either.
Responding to Capella with an apathetic manner, heaving a sigh as if something were weighing him down. And then...
Shouldn't you have heard it up there? Your actions were seen through by that wicked one on our side. Which is to say, in terms of wickedness, how could you hope to triumph against the princess?
As he spoke, alongside the bass of his voice, was heard the sound of a drawn scabbard. The sword attached behind his side had been drawn from its sheath, and sluggish light reflected onto it from the hole overhead. Standing there was a man with one arm, was a shadow clad in a black helmet, was an eccentrically dressed, strange man. The stranger facing Capella pointed the blue dragon sword held by his singular arm towards her.
Though I've only just greeted you, I'm in a terrible mood today. Before I die, hurry up and get the fuck out of here, mollusk.
The chapter is done.
Hey.
Next
Carl
one
went
is gonna
so
be a
hard on the Capella
doozy.
that she ended up throwing up.
I'm so sorry. I had to go puke.
Oh no. Are you
Oh
okay?
my god, yeah.
I'm okay. I think it was a mix of the nerves and the fact that I hadn't eaten today and all I had was tea. I'm gonna eat now.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, probably eat.
Yeah, food is good.
Food is good. I'm
Capella
eating
is so vile, it makes the voice actor puke.
Oh man.
She was saying it quietly.
I mean, it's fitting
quietly,
for the
not
character.
Not to pick up on the mic. She just randomly whispered something to me with my headphones on, so I had no idea what she's saying. I just saw her ran off to the bathroom. I was like, huh? What's going on? Huh?
Like, wait, what? Oh no.
Oh, poor Kyle.
Give me like 20, 30 minutes of discussion to recover.
Yeah,
we can do that.
For sure.
Well, good job, everyone.
Yeah, good job.
Ooh.
Good job, Tealdi, for the narration, as always. Beautiful, beautiful work. I know
Bellissimo.
all those talking, you talked more than all of us combined, and it was
All the talkies.
Yeah.
All
And you did it without complaint, without hesitation. It was great. All that experience narrating those Berserk chapters finally pay off.
Yes.
I
An
never
unexpected Capella.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never heard Kyle's Capella voice before. It's great.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, she's very flexible as a voice actress. Yeah.
I
You can do
am
a whole
now
lot.
able to say I have played a character that has made me violently ill. Am I?
There you
Yeah.
go. See, I don't have that
Not even
check
an
mark yet,
expression.
so good job.
What do you think? What was it about the voice? Was it just the nerves, or do you think it was just the fact that it was so just grating of a voice, or what do you think?
A mix of both. Definitely both. Jace,
Yeah.
I don't know how the fuck you did this before. We're gonna make it work.
With extreme pain.
It is pain. Because I'm trying to save my throat, I'm using more of my stomach. And if it has nothing.
Yeah. And then with all the breathing in, it just irritates it, I think, maybe.
Yeah. So I'll make
Oh yeah, I just fucked over my throat. I didn't even think about the stomach.
This is the fun behind the scenes about being a voice actor that you don't really get to see in our readings. But yeah, it's sometimes strenuous to do like these long chapter reads, especially when you have a very involved character in that chapter, for sure. For example, like I don't know how Wooloo did that huge rant at like last session or whatnot.
Oh yeah.
It's seriously commendable how into it our voice actors get, and it's a testament to their talent, but also how amazing they are to put themselves out there for the sake of entertaining all of us and the sake of doing this project with all of us. It's great.
Kyle's
So, yeah.
dead.
Kyle's is dead, and next chapter, Capella will not die, even though she is very annoying. What do you
Because of course not.
That's called pest control.
Just spray her a couple times, maybe that'll kill her.
Get over
Raid.
breathe.
Flamethrower.
Definitely
Flamethrower.
flamethrower.
Also, sorry for being 30 minutes late. My alarm didn't wake me up. I went to bed late.
You're totally fine.
I had to put on multiple alarms to wake up this early.
I just happened.
I
to
have
wake up
so many alarm presets on my phone.
When I have to wake up this early in the morning, what I tend to actually do is like set literally 20 alarms 5 minutes apart from each other.
Yeah.
That makes total sense.
And then if you
I'm
keep
not even
snoozing the
convinced
other
that works.
alarms, it's just like a non-stop.
Yeah, so it makes
Parade.
it worse if you snooze it, so that means I have to actually like look at it properly.
My solution is 2 cats that don't like me to sleep in past 8.
Oh.
That also works.
God.
Speaking of which, I have to go. I got two little puppies I gotta go pick up from the vet.
Oh,
Oh,
go do
cute.
that.
Puppies!
Why are you still here? Go and get them.
Get those puppies.
All right, everybody, take care.
Bye,
All right.
Yeah, have a good
Thanks for
day.
stopping by. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm such a heavy sleeper that I need somebody to like pick me up and shake me like a bag to wake me up.
I have the curse of being really sensitive to light. So
Oh, yeah.
even despite me buying blackout curtains, they don't fully cover. So I still eventually wake up.
Get one of those little face masks.
I can't. They're way too uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
So I can't fall asleep, so what's the point?
Mm.
Yeah. Sleep aside, Crush is in a very deep sleep, and they are getting Ferris is getting a bad interaction with Capella. That was a great transition,
Yes.
totally natural.
Totally forgot how cruel she was. Very cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, out of all of the Synarch bishops, well, maybe this is not true. It might be, but she is.
I think she's the
probably
most evil.
She's the most malicious.
Yeah,
you
she's
know?
definitely
Yeah.
the most demented archbishop so
she
far.
She is most very much the most evil.
Yeah, because like others like give a reason, or like you know, it's not usually a good reason, but she just likes to torture people.
Well, yeah, the rest of them are meant to be read as they have a point if you look at it on the
Yeah.
surface, but it never follows through with a good argument.
Mhm.
She has no point. It's just pure monster.
Yeah. And I'll say, like, sort of like, maybe not trying to compare voices too much, but like, compared to Jace, I think Capella is much more childish, which I think does impact a little more when she's saying all this nasty stuff.
Yeah.
Well, she's very much like an exaggeration
Yeah.
of those sort of tropes, right? Is the point, I think. I think
Oh, 100%.
it's definitely a kind of like a commentary on how those sort of characters are kind of sexualized a lot in Japanese media.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was sort of even in the subtext of the writing. I mean, it's sort of obvious. It was like, you know, this body that should make, you know, most people repulsed is dressed so like scantily clad, and it's like there's like a hint of like, you know, Teppei being like, most people, you know, if they saw this like character design, should be discussed, and yet it's trying to come across as alluring, right? For the audience, and that's sort of what was written there. And I mean, Capella as a character is very interesting because I think, you know, she kind of tackles a lot of the themes in ReZero that has to do with the fact that like it's a story all about relationships and like growing and like developing between people. And Capella sort of spits on everybody's face while they're going through these, you know, trials, right? And because of that, I think that she is like the perfect, like, you know, person to hate, because we see these characters overcoming these burdens and starting to form these relationships. And, you know, because of that, I think that she is especially evil in the context of the story because of the way the themes are presented, you know?
I think even like after that, like she just has very interesting like lore, I guess. Like there's a lot to digest with her potential story. I mean, she like is the quote unquote like mother of the assassins or something like that. And
Yeah, we
you know,
saw her turn to Elsa at the end of the
Uh-huh.
chapter here.
yeah, and she might be connected to, you know, the royal bloodline. I mean, she has hundreds of years of experience, I suppose. So really want to know more about her.
Yeah. I think her.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think her dress was just made so that people can't read volume 17 in public without getting stares. Because you're just out there sitting, it's like, oh, ugh.
Hey guys, look what I'm reading.
It's like, no, put that away.
At the time, your face.
You have to like put like a
How do you explain that?
It's
put, like, the
commentary, I
cover
promise.
on top of the cover.
Yeah, just slap a desk
It's
cover
not as
over it like
bad
a
as
school
it's
book.
Exactly.
She's 100-something years old. Please.
Yeah, trust me.
No, really, it's okay. It's like, no, it's not.
Bro, I swear, look at the wiki, bro. It's right here.
I'm pulling it up right now. Here it is.
I got receipts.
Yeah. Capella has just always been to me, even though she's most vile, she's definitely in my opinion one of the most entertaining of the Synarch bishops.
She has the most. Yeah.
Probably because she cares the least about her reasonings, which you mentioned
Mhm.
earlier. Because I think she's kind of just doing it just because she can.
In terms of like a reading perspective, her personality is the most fun. Where everybody else has like a sort of demented sort of personality that feels like complex and also like delusional. like Capella's very honest with her feelings, right? So it's like her delusion is just like a state of mind that she always has on, and it's always just like ridicule, constant ridicule, thinking everybody's trash, and
Well,
like finding ways to toy with them.
I think what makes her different from other archbishops is there's never a hole in her delusion. There's never a moment of realization, because you get that for literally every other archbishop, literally every single one. Whereas for her, the world she sees the world as, it never breaks apart for her, like ever. She never sees holes in it. There's never like a leap in logic for her.
Yeah, there's no real contradiction in her like thinking as well. Like she's always very like clearly against everybody else. So it's like impossible for you to be like, well, this guy is just like crazy, or this person's just, you can see there's something behind their perspective. Whereas Capella is just like an entire worldview that's like completely like filtered, like cannot be changed, sort of stuck.
She's probably the archbishop you couldn't psychologically battle really at all. Whereas with some of the others, you probably could like in some ways mess with them with your words. Capella is the kind of character where it will not affect her.
It's useless, yeah.
Because she's so good at psychologically tormenting people that
she'll always find a ways to twist it. Yeah.
Because like back in Arc 3, he was able to like manipulate Betelgeuse by like messing with his emotions, by picking at the things he cares about. And with Regulus, he was able to tick him off by like saying certain things and stepping on his toes.
Well, because at the end of the day, for those two characters in particular, Betelgeuse is like a zealot, right? He's like an extremist. So he's very easy to manipulate when you talk about the things that he believes in. Whereas for Regulus, he's a really insecure person. So when you talk about him in a negative way, it deeply affects him instead. But then with Capella, she doesn't have that lack of self-confidence, and she doesn't have that amount of loyalty to someone either.
She's the leader.
Yeah, she's the kind of big boss character, I think.
Well, for the other bishops, they embody sort of an antithesis to their sin while also still being hypocritical towards it. Whereas Capella despises the people's natural instinct to feel any sort of sexual attraction, appreciation for beauty, despite her coming off it for the showing of it, just hates it full stop. Like, you're not going to have her secretly being overly infatuated with the way that somebody looks and appears. Like, she's not going to have the secret crush on someone. She just despises it full stop.
Yeah, for sure. And, nobody also, like, out of all of the Sin Archbishops that I've seen so far, they're all devoted to something or someone, right? Like, Regulus is devoted to his own self-image. Sirius is devoted to, Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice was devoted to Satella. And, I'm probably blanking on a few other examples. Oh, we don't really know about Lei and stuff yet.
I guess Satella's depend on Subaru.
Yeah. And, that is, the thing that we kind of noticed about Capella is that she really has no belief that she is following. She has no, real weakness that we've seen so far as her, care, because she doesn't care about anything because she feels like it's, that is something to be, disgusted by. So it makes sense why she doesn't care about anything, but it also makes her the most dangerous in terms of what she might do or why she might do it. It could be for any reason, right?
Well, I think she is the archbishop because all the others, even though they're crazy and demented and they have their own delusions about the world, Capella is really the only one that basically completely almost embodies her sin in the way she believes it. She has no real humanity. There is a tiny bit of humanity in all of the other archbishops, which you cannot see in her whatsoever.
Yeah, she has no real self-identity as a human. She thinks of humans as lower than her. she thinks herself something greater, which makes sense considering she's some immortal being. But still, it's like, there's probably some history behind it that we still don't know.
Oh yeah, I'm sure her backstory is absolutely fascinating.
For sure, yeah.
But I do really like that aspect of her character because she really embodies the idea of lust from her perspective, where it's an idea of that she believes that she should be worshipped and loved by everyone, the same like, and be the most loved person in someone's life. But she applies that concept to everyone, which she knows is an impossible expectation to meet. Like, she's completely self-aware of what she's doing and how she sees the world. So she's a very special kind of crazy.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that because, like, despite her expecting that of people, she at the same time thinks that that's like the most apprehensible thing that ever exists, right? Like,
yeah, it's really ironic.
It's her, saying that everybody loves one another. She can tell it, or that's what she thinks, right? She can like make these connections. She knows how to manipulate people and their relationships, and at the same time, like, it has to be like the most extreme possible. So like she always takes it to like the most like reprehensible type of love, like obsession, right? And that is her idea of what love is. There's no nuance in it. There's no whatever. She always thinks of like the most basest, most like vilest, most, I mean, like not necessarily vile, but she always thinks of people as like simple creatures, like sacks of meat that are just like worthless animals that go around. I mean, she's ranted about before,
Well,
but like
there's no concept of relationship in her love. It's all about desire, right?
Yeah.
Desire of any sort. It doesn't have to be sexual, but to her, that's the only thing that exists within love. There is no complicated ideas of relationship and like feelings in terms of other people. It's all about how they feel about a particular thing.
For sure. Like, she thinks of people's relationships as something that people, discriminate on other people's for, and she thinks, I probably think that she like thinks as a weakness because of the fact that it is so like selfish, I guess, is probably her thinking, right? That like these people choose these people to obsess over, and at the end of the day, they're they don't care about everybody equally, or it's all just like this some sort of like selfish base sort of like desire.
But she's projecting the idea of lust onto them, that they're only pursuing anything out of the physical desire for it, that she doesn't have faith that people have that sort of emotion behind it.
Makes her a really interesting character. I mean, we see in this chapter she kind of digs into Ferris's complex feelings for Krush, as we can kind of see it, right? She picks and prods at different angles that we don't know, even as readers at this point, exactly how Ferris feels about Krush, and whether or not she's right or not at some of these instances where she's like going down a list, right? It's all very presumptuous in terms of like the complexity of probably how he serves Krush, right? As somebody who knows Ferris's backstory like fully, because I read his novel,
it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's interesting, and like the extent of their relationship is definitely more so than what she was letting on. And I think that's also one of her weaknesses. She doesn't really understand the fact that people could scheme with one another if they aren't enamored with each other. She doesn't really care about like, she plays with people more so than actually like dealing with them, because that's, as she said, that's the fun part for her. She wants to make people suffer. She doesn't care about actually succeeding in her goals. She doesn't care about doing X, Y, or Z thing, because her goal is to make people suffer.
Not to immediately just directly switch subjects, has it been discussed on what Subaru's contract with Roswell is in your readings yet, or is that the first time it's come up? Because I know it's not explicit in the anime because of a couple mistranslations.
When did it come up with this chapter?
Subaru was mentioning it
Oh,
earlier on about his like worries about the future on considering returning by death because people were dying.
No, I don't think we've gone over exactly what it said.
I think it's like basically like that's the one we made like at the end of Arc 4. That's what you're referencing, right?
Yes, because the anime both sub and dub mistranslate what he's saying to a significant degree.
Yeah, I
where
think
it
it's
makes him sound like really supportive and helpful when he's threatening Subaru's entire existence with any mistakes.
Yeah, that's from what I understand, it's basically like I won't directly harm you guys or else my soul will get eviscerated. But you know, if you ever mess up, I can just, you know, kill anyone.
Mhm.
That's my understanding of it though.
It is. It's just for viewers who may not have read that portion or gone through the cut content to understand exactly what he was threatening. That if Subaru loses anyone he cares about, Roswell will kill the rest of them to make him reset.
You know, connecting that to this chapter, Roswell has in the past manipulated or, you know, directly threatened Subaru for his own gains. And how did he do that? It was through, you know, Elsa and Meili's, you know, trying to, you know, assassinate the mansion. And, you know, the leader of that, of course, is Capella. So at that, you know, instance, we kind of have to assume that Capella has been around in the story in terms of like a character. She has been directly influencing scenarios that have, you know, affected Subaru and, you know, our characters for quite a while, and we just haven't really known that. So
Speaking of which, the royal family died off 100 years ago, correct? Not 400.
The royal family didn't die off 100 years ago. In fact, they died
It's super
off.
recently.
Yeah, they died off like 10 years ago.
I think even less actually.
Yeah, it should be less because Krush was, or yeah, it was like 18-ish.
It would be about
7 years ago was when the last one went missing.
Yeah.
Because Reinhardt was 14 at the time.
Right.
And they discussed like one of the royals' children going missing. What was that?
That was the last one. Was the last known royal family member was missing around that time 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah, and this corresponds with, you know, a lot of different, you know, things going on with Krush and Ferris. Yeah, and it's interesting for sure. Because Krush was originally engaged with the prince who is the Lagunica family line, right? So, you know, even in like subtle ways, I bet, you know, Ferris has even more apprehension fighting somebody who has the last name Lagunica because he knows the history quite well and is, you know, even met their relatives. So it's very interesting indeed. It's actually kind of ironic now I think about it because, you know, somebody with the name Lagunica was the one who hurt Krush, right? And, you know, in a way, it's sort of like it makes sense why that would happen, you know, connecting that narratively. Like, the descendant that you failed, her, you know, the ancestor comes and injures you. You know, it's stuff like that that is one of the clever parts about Tepe's writing, I think.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because the royal family died off due to some sort of mysterious illness. And Capella's ability definitely seems like the kind of thing that could influence that. So
yeah, it definitely
there
seems
could
connected.
be the possibility that she was involved in the royal family's death. It would make sense.
Oh, absolutely.
And also, it kind of makes you wonder about the manifestation of it, right? It's like, was it because we know that a lot of, you know, Synarch bishops, you know, authorities kind of tie into their personality, right? What if, like, you know, maybe, you know, Capella was, you know, sickly as a child, and that's the reason why she, you know, looks so thin and stuff, you know. Like, there's probably explanations that tie into the reason why her power is like that, and then, you know, she probably somehow cursed or hates the royal family through her history, through her, whatever. But we'll definitely see, and it's a character to definitely keep an eye out on, because she's definitely tied into the history of the kingdom that we are familiar with, as well as she has some ties with some characters that is also very interesting.
Ooh, spooky.
In conclusion, don't stick your sword in crazy.
That's just general good life advice, honestly.
Yep.
Well, hopefully, at least next chapter, I will be able to do that exact thing, though.
Yes.
Yes.
Is this the first time we see him fight in the main story?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. How are you feeling, Kyles?
Oh my god, holy shit. Well, we'll make the announcement. So, Kyles cannot do more Capella without throwing up again. So, we're just gonna do chapter 60 today. Everyone's been so lovely with being cool with me rescheduling. So, we're gonna do that. And, so hopefully this next week we can do like 61, 62, 63. We will see everyone's schedules. And, but we can still keep hanging out and having a good time, or we can start winding down. Yeah, we're vibing. I never thought that would happen. I apologize, everyone.
Yeah, it's okay. Your health comes first 100% of the time, and it should never be at the point where you're hurting yourself to do something like this. And it's totally understandable. I hope you all understand, our viewers listening, that this is definitely the right decision to make, and we'll definitely come back very soon. So don't you worry about that for the next chapter. So I hope you guys are all excited for that. We'll just have to reorder maybe some chapters, or maybe we just add this into the next batch. Add an extra chapter in for funsies, as long as that's sustainable.
You never know. I still need to fix REM to get Discord working so we can actually see who's talking at all times. And,
oh, that's good. So I changed my profile picture for no reason.
It looks great, though.
It does.
Being angry. Yeah.
For the most part, we all know, voicing Capella is suffering. Voicing Capella is suffering. However,
Don't know how you did it, Jace. Don't know how you did
that.
I don't know either.
A mystery for the ages.
My throat is alive, and that's not a usual thing for me. So, at least one thing's alive.
You definitely just overworked yourself.
Yeah.
Oops.
You put everything into it, so it was very good.
As long as I make the people happy, I'm happy.
You did amazing.
Oh, thank
You did great. Your Capella sounds amazing.
Oh, thank you, Jace. Oh, that's an honor coming from you.
But it's not worth it if it actually physically hurts you, though.
Oh, literally only because I did not eat properly. That's on me, folks. Eat your
server.
breakfast.
Hold on, server mom sliding in. Make sure you eat next time.
Breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
You should have seen the assortment of food I just freaking mowed down on. I had Wolf's leftover ribs and coleslaw, and then I shoved some crackers in my face, and I think I had there's something else I don't remember. I just blindly put it in my mouth.
It was quite an
Vacuumed
interesting
it down.
experience discussing stuff and watching her run around the room aimlessly doing loads of stuff.
I could hear the microwave.
Yeah, the microwave beeping.
Beep, beep, beep. Microwave Coon reporting for duty.
Doing his job right.
Okay, Microwave Kun, you're gonna have to voice Capella. Are you ready for this?
Beep, 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 beep.
Okay.
It doesn't
It's
give
just
me
gonna have to get
anything. It goes by minutes. It doesn't do anything in between, so we gotta just stop it.
That's
There
pretty
should
bad.
be a way that you can, because my parents had one like that. There should be a way to counteract that.
There should be. Now, will we do it?
Who knows?
Who knows? But maybe we should. That might be better. How often are the live readings supposed to be? Well, Gavin, we have so many people on our channel that it's kind of hard to do regular scheduled things. Hopefully once a week, but sometimes it gets slid over. Like we took a pretty big gap while Wolfie Boy was moving / a lot of people were going on vacation, which is lovely. Yay, summer break. But now that everyone's kind of winding into school, I think we'll be able to have more regular scheduled stuff.
Yeah, it does sound good.
Like our regular
Hope so.
Anastasia, she's on vacation and at work, so thankfully we had the lovely Mango step in to help out with Anastasia, and Mango did fantastic, so thank you.
You did amazing, Mango!
Yep.
Absolutely wonderful.
Oh, thank you. I tried my best on the southern accent. I think I should work on that a little bit, but thank you.
You nailed
Tip
it.
my hat to you, partner. Well, that's great.
Yeah. How's everyone feeling? You guys want to hang out, or are we wrapping this up?
We can hang out, sure.
I need to get going because the minions are waking up, and
right.
the new little furry babies probably need to be taken care of. They're probably getting awake too.
Babies, huh?
Oh, the names.
Yeah, we got 3 kittens.
Ooh, that's always fun. So cute.
So yeah, I gotta go check on all the babies.
All the babies.
Yes, all the babies.
Fostering
So many
or are they
babies.
adopted?
Fun.
You fostering or are they adopted?
Oh no, I adopted them through the Humane Society here.
Oh wow.
Oh, cool.
They're all yours. A full house.
They're mine. There's no foster. Well, even with fostering, there's the failed fosters where it's just like, no, we're not giving it back.
I'm currently fostering kittens, so.
Aw. More babies!
More babies.
Love for everyone.
All the babies!
If there's any takeaways from this chapter, cats are nice.
Cats are cool.
Cats are nice. says
They're
the cat
great.
guy.
Phoenix is cool, right?
Yeah, cats are good.
Yeah.
Cool and emotionally vulnerable.
Oh.
Even if he
That's
was
why you
being
take
emotionally
care of them.
devastated this chapter.
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta get some spice in with the nice,
Nice and spice. I'm cringe. I think on that note, we're gonna head out, everyone.
Yes, let us do that before we embarrass ourselves anymore today. Yeah.
Kyle's on a roll today.
But it's all right. We love you guys, and hopefully, we see you again sometime soon. So thank you for stopping by. We're all gonna have a nice rest of our day, and we hope that you do as well.
Thank you.
Good start to the morning.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a lovely morning or afternoon or wherever you live, time zones depending.
Au revoir.
Hopefully.